Even though the Missouri State University enrollment has increased by 13% in the past 2 years, this upcoming fall, we will see the largest freshman class ever. Another way to prevent obesity within yourself is to use raw ingredients when cooking or drinking water when you're craving a snack. In Springfield, Missouri, I'm Briana Montgomery, Ozarks News Journal. The Midwest is the worst region when it comes to having allergies. Trees like these have a high pollen count and can make you the sickest during the spring. One of the biggest misconceptions about bald eagles is that they will attack, but a conservation education specialist says otherwise. Child abuse is a crisis situation in America. Some may think that child abuse comes from a stranger, but a forensic interviewer says that 90% of the abuse comes from someone the child knows.
We used to teach kids a long time ago was the whole stranger is the one who's going to abuse you. And that does happen, but actually it's only about 10% of the time that kids don't know their offender.
Children are getting interviewed as young as 3 years old up to 17 years old. Could hotlines be helpful for abused children?
The hotline is designed to facilitate an investigation based on suspicion of child abuse.
A child is being abused, Children's Division steps in to see what they can do to help to make sure that child is safe. There are ways to be successful in a child abuse case without prosecution being involved.
But you also have providing services to the family, making sure that child's safe, helping them get through this traumatic situation, helping them have closure. So not all the time is it all about prosecution, but we need to look at the bigger picture.
Patterson says there is another way you can be successful in these cases.
Success is defined by preventing child abuse, and that can be facilitated a number of different ways. The quicker a report is made, the more likely the Children's Division is going to be able to intervene early and perhaps provide some assistance to that family so that it doesn't rise to the level of a criminal act.
If a child gets abused and their offender isn't prosecuted, they should go to therapy. And the Springfield Victim Center provides free therapy for victims of child abuse and even violent crimes. In Springfield, Missouri, I'm Briana Montgomery, Ozarks News Journal. According to Centers for Disease Control.gov, 35% of adult Americans are obese. Some obesity-related complications are heart disease, strokes, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer. Officials with the Springfield Health Department say many factors play into Americans being obese.
Obviously, a lot of it is our lifestyle choices, how we eat, how we decide to exercise, how walkable a neighborhood is or a community, how close our grocery store is. There's lots of different things that go into it. But when you boil it down to it, probably the most simple answer is it's how we eat and it's how we move.
The CDC also says that 17% of children are obese. That alone is 12.5 million children in the United States. How can we prevent children from being obese?
Start young, and you want to make the change as a family. It's important to show that all food kind of has its time and place, and it's important to teach those healthy behaviors young with diet. It's not so much exercise that's important that we really want to encourage kids to do. It's play. It's get out there and just move more is really the message that families need to kind of take in.
Mooney also says that heart disease is the most common form of obesity.
It's most prevalent in our society. Here in Springfield, it kills more than any other condition. I believe it's 50% of all the deaths in Greene County are somehow attributed to heart disease. High blood pressure and high cholesterol, the two most common forms of heart disease, and they both impact about 20% of the population. What's scary about a lot of those chronic diseases is you don't know you have them. It's not like a cold or a flu. You obviously know when you have it. Any changes that you're going to feel are so slow that a lot of times we don't know that we have that disease until we have a heart attack or until we get an infection from a cut on our foot that won't heal.
Decrease obesity and the chances of having heart disease. Since it is a common death, we should eat certain foods.
Increase fruit and vegetables. More than anything else. The thing about fresh fruits and vegetables too is that there's a lot of fiber in them.
Another way to prevent obesity within yourself is to use raw ingredients when cooking or drinking water when you're craving a snack. In Springfield, Missouri, I'm Briana Montgomery, Ozarks News Journal. It is Women's History Month. What do you think is the most important thing to recognize about this month about women?
Well, that's such a big question. I think Well, I think, we really are in an era where we're moving towards seeing more equality in so many ways. And I think it's important just to recognize the need for that ongoing work and to recognize it's a work in progress, and that in a number of different ways, in my little corner of the world is women in the media, and other folks are doing great work with domestic violence and issues abroad, and all these are important. But I think it's just important to recognize where the changes need to be made in each of these areas, and how we can all do our parts and use our expertise to help create a more fair world.
Right. Well, thank you, Dr. Wessels, for being here with us today.